everyone. This is Andrea's Pop Culture Guy. Today is the latest Andrea's Pop Culture Retrospective / review, and it's on Spider-Man 2, the 2004 film, the sequel to the 2002 Spider-Man film. Once again, directed by Sam Raimi, starring Tobey Maguire, Kristen Dunst, James Franco, J.K. Simmons, and new addition, of course, Alfred Molina as Doc Ock. Now, this year is the 20th anniversary of this spectacular sequel, or amazing sequel, whatever you want to label it. In the years since its release, Spider-Man 2 has been regarded as one of the best superhero movies of all time, which is not hard to see why, and I do agree with this sentiment. It's bolstered with stellar characterization of the characters from the comics, a well-developed villain this time around with Doc Ock, excellent action sequences this time for this film. The two big ones is the bank robbery with Doc Ock and the train sequence towards the middle of the third act. And strong performances from all around the cast and a human and intellectual story this time with Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 beats Sam Raimi's first film by a large margin, and much to my excitement, which is great. And I will definitely talk more about this in the review. Now, the synopsis for the film, picking up 2 years after the first film, Spider-Man 2 follows Peter Parker, played by Tobey Maguire, as he struggles to balance his professional and personal lives with his duties as Spider-Man. As his relationship with Mary Jane, played by Kristen Dunst, and Harry Osborn, played by James Franco, become increasingly strained. It begins to affect his powers and complicates and contemplates either he should quit being Spider-Man altogether. But when a menacing new enemy arises to threaten New York, Peter must find it within himself to save his loved ones and his city. All of the main cast members from the first film return, and they are joined by, again, as I mentioned before, Alfred Molina as Otto Octavius, aka Dr. Octopus, Donna Murphy as Rosie Octavius, the wife of Dr. Octopus, Dylan Baker as Kirk Connors, aka the Lizard, but not the Lizard in the Sam Raimi trilogy, just Dr. Connors, and Daniel Gills as John Jameson, the son of Jane Joan Jameson, played by J.K. Simmons. If the first film is about accepting your responsibility, then this movie is all about the tolls of those responsibilities can take on your relationship with the people around you. Peter knows he needs to do all he can to protect the people of New York, but it becomes increasingly stressful for him to do so while maintaining a healthy relationship with his family and friends. That's to say nothing of the fact that the city doesn't even appreciate his heroics, courtesy of the taboos or tableaus, such as Daily Bugle. This movie does an excellent job of exploring how stressful the superhero life can be. And Tobey Maguire, again, continues to impress us with his sympathetic, honest portrayal of Peter Parker in this film. Now, what also makes this film great is this movie takes some of the beats from the Spider-Man comic books. In this case, Spider-Man No More comic, which follows Peter as he chooses to quit being Spider-Man and live a normal life. Things very much play out like the comic, complete with the famous shot of Spider-Man costume dumped into the garbage, which is so fantastic. I really enjoy seeing the writers take things from the source material and incorporating them in such an organic way. It helps give the movie a sense of appreciation, also reverence for the comic books. These are the movies that I really appreciate. That's why I really appreciate X-Men Days of Future Past, because that takes the very famous Days of Future Past storyline and make it into his own film in the X-Men continuity. Or some of the Batman films, taking some of the iconic graphic novels or storylines from the Batman comics, like Long Halloween, Killing Joke, or Dark Knight Returns, or Nightfall in some of the new Batman films. So I really enjoy and equally wonderful to see Pierre finally come to realize what it truly means to be a hero, which occurs in one of the best scenes in the trilogy. So I really enjoyed the aspect of that film of making taking some of the best comic books from the Spider-Man lore. Now, let's get into the thing I think maybe people will really want me to talk about. That is Doc Ock. He's very much the right choice villain for this film, and he serves as a strong foil to Peter Parker in this film. He's not really a villain, but so much a misguided man with delusions of grandeur, which I do agree. And he starts out wanting to help the world with his technology for the fusion core, only to fall apart as he watches life's work crumble. And with his mechanical arms being a negative influence on his personality, it makes Knockout one of the most compelling supervillains of all time in superhero media. But what helps it is because of Alfred Molina's performance. He does such a great job conveying Otto's descent into madness, and his quieter moments give him in the sympathy that the movie needs and the audience to sympathize with as well in the movie. Now, we cannot talk about in a Spider movie the complete and without excellent or excellent slash exteriorly action set pieces that this film displays. I mean, come on, Spider-Man fights with Doc Ock always lead to a bunch of fun visuals, and we get a lot of close-up and pressure shots during the scenes, such as the bank heist, the clock tower skirmish, and of course the famous train showdown. The latter, which is a textbook showcase of the speed, preciseness, and building intentions. All the visual effects are stellar. Doc Ock's tentacles are a great mix of practical effects and CGI, which is impressive. Something we haven't beat yet in these recent superhero films. The buildings being destroyed are fun to watch, and the final showdown does its job of being entertaining and character-driven sequence. This is why that this movie, and so far only superhero film that won the Oscar for best visual effects, and that's the reason. I think that Spider-Man 2's visual effects are much better than the first one. I think that this first one did feel a little dated. Here, Spider-Man 2's special effects over the last 20 years has not, has been pretty much spotless and still holds up today. Now, and towards before we get into like the final part of the review, let me do a quick roundup of some of the skeleton stuff to wrap up. First, I wanted to bring up Kristen Dunst's performance as Mary Jane. I think she delivers a standout performance as Mary Jane. James Franco as well does a good job portraying Harry's unhealthy obsession with Spider-Man. And then I want to bring up Danny Elfman's score. As awesome as it listed to, I think this is the weakest score in the Spider-Man trilogy, despite it's still great. I mean, the opening credits are innovative and fun to watch, but the score just feels somewhat padded or copy from some other familiar scores. Like in this case, if you listen to some of Doc Ock's theme or his Oscar score, it sounds familiar to Christopher Young's score of Hellraiser, which is funny because Christopher Young becomes the new composer for Spider-Man 3, and I thought Spider-Man 3 score is much better. That's just my opinion. I don't know what you guys think. Comment below what you thought about Spider-Man 2 soundtrack. I mean, the licensed songs are good, but for me, I think the score here for Dan Elfman does take doesn't live up what the first one does or what the third one does bring later. And then, of course, the final scenes are very satisfying. With the score there. But another cast member I want to bring up is Aunt May. I think Rosemary Harris did a great job as portraying Aunt May. This is definitely her best performance as the character in this film. Her speech with Peter about letting go of the dreams is really fantastic and something that Peter will use again, towards Doc Ock towards the end of the film. She as wise as Obi-Wan, and the final swing with Spider-Man after Mary J gets back to Peter is fantastic and swings rocks on or something like that. But anyway, so overall, wrapping up, I think Spider-Man 2 is fantastic. One of the best sequels ever. Does it beat one of my personal favorite X-Men Days Future Past? No, but it's still up there. It's definitely my second favorite Spider-Man film after the Cross of the Spider-Verse film back in 2023 with Miles Morales. This is the movie that surprised the original and on many different levels. It has a better villain, better story, and most of all, a better message. A better message. This movie is about Peter Parker who loses faith at what he does, and so he loses his powers. This is one of the rare sequels where everything has been improved, and I think Spider-Man 2 is one of the best comic movies of all time. It really shows the struggles and consequences of being a hero, and I think it does it marvelous. Sorry for that pun. So in that case, thank you so much for everyone to join the Spider-Man 2 20th anniversary review. I will be back for more reviews. Check them out later this week or soon. And thank you so much. Ciao. Bye.